All right, well, welcome back, Algebra 2 students. This is Chapter 1, Section 2. The title is Evaluate and Simplify Algebraic Expressions. And as usual, the first thing we're going to take a look at are some vocabulary words. Now, you probably saw these in the words to review, but we can have them right here as well. Power, an expression. An expression formed by repeated multiplication of the same factor. Okay. So what that means is repeated multiplication of the same factor. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 2 to the fourth. X times x times x times x times x. That's x to the fifth. Sad face times sad face times sad face equals sad face to the third. That's what that's talking about. A variable is a letter or symbol to represent one or more numbers. So terms are basically the pieces of an addition or subtraction problem. So you could have 2 minus x plus y minus 5a. Each individual piece here is a term, and so there are 4 terms. Coefficients. Basically, they're the numbers in front of a variable. Identity. Basically, an identity are when the left and right part of an equation are equal. So like this is an example of it. Two x plus 4y equals 2x plus 2y. This forms an identity because you distribute 2x plus 4y equals 2x plus 4y. They are equivalent, therefore they are the identity of one another. All right, so let's talk about the order of operations here. A lot of people use please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Some people like to use PEMDAS. I actually don't like the P in either of those because sometimes you aren't using parentheses. Sometimes it's brackets. Sometimes it's a division sign. There are a lot of this, or a square root. There are a lot of things that aren't parentheses that are grouping symbols. So I prefer to use GEMDAS. Sounds more Lord of the Rings-ish as well. GEMDAS. It means grouping symbols. Those are parentheses. Those are brackets. It's a long division symbol, a square root. Those are all grouping symbols. The rest of these make sense. An exponent, multiply, divide, add, subtract. So, first do operations that occur with, remember we're going to say grouping symbols. Next, evaluate the powers. Look at the exponents. Then do multiplication and division. And from here it's going to say left to right. For multiplication and division, always work left to right. And then lastly, finally do addition and subtraction from left to right. Right? If you try to go right to left, sometimes things can get screwed up. All right, so here let's do a quick example. Let's try to evaluate 2 times 4 squared minus 10. And actually, let's do minus. Let's put a parentheses there. Let's do that. So, first, grouping symbol. This is a grouping symbol. So 2 times 4 squared minus 9. Now, exponent. 2 times 16 minus 9. Now, multiplication. 32 minus 9. And finally, subtraction. Evaluate an algebraic expression. All right, what you need to do for this, you're going to plug in this number here. Evaluate sometimes means to substitute. So you put a -5 in here. All right. Now this is where we have to now use order of operations. The -5, is there any parentheses? Are there any operations within the parentheses? Hopefully you should say no, because there's no, it's not -5 times something. It's not -5 plus or minus something. It's just -5 in the parentheses. So let's go ahead and evaluate the powers. -5 squared. If you try to use a calculator for this, in your calculator, if you do -5 squared in your calculator like that, it's going to give it to you as -25. Okay. That's absolutely wrong. You should know that -5 squared is -5 times -5, and that ends up being a positive 25. Here, just keep it -5. All right, now let's do some of the multiplying. -6 times 25 should be negative 150. -11 times -5 should be positive 55. So now when we do all the adding and stuff like that, let's see here. This becomes -95 plus 34. This becomes 9 negative. Oh, not negative. Sorry, negative. So 61 is our answer. All right, let's work out some of this stuff. Let's try it out. Evaluate the expression. When they give you a number, you distribute, or not distribute, you put it in there. Substitute. 3 times 7 minus 16. 21 minus 16 equals 5. Here again, evaluate by substitution. 2 times 3 squared. 3 minus 10. You have to do the order of operations. 3 minus 10 is -7. Now let's exponents. 2 times 9 times -7. Let's see, 2 times, what is that? -63. -126. All right, guided practice. Let's do number 1 and 4. Number 1 is to evaluate the expression. So this is number 1. 6 cubed. Well, that's 6 times 6 times 6. That's 36 times 6. And since we're not using calculators right now, you could at home if you want. That's 36, carry the 3, that's 18, 216. All right, let's take a look at number 4. We've got 5x, x minus 2, and it tells us that x is 6. So let's plug that in, substitute. 5 times 6 times 6 minus 2. So what do we do first? Should we multiply here first? No. Keep that 5 times 6. And let's do this subtraction. Now multiply from left to right. 30 times 4, 120. So don't forget to do the rest of those guided practices. All right, terms and coefficients. In an expression that can be written as a sum, the parts added together are called the terms. So each piece that's separated by addition or subtraction is a term. A term that has a variable variable part is a variable term. Part that has no variable the term that has no variable part is a constant term. And then when a term is a product of a number and a power of a variable, the number is called the coefficient of that term. Just some vocabulary there to review. So let's take a look at these things. Simplify by combining like terms. So 11x. Okay, so that's something we didn't quite talk about. Let's add here what like terms are. Like terms have the same variable. So like terms are not x, the variable x and the variable y. They also have the same exponent. These have the same variable, but the exponents are not the same. These are not like terms. These are, we have the same variable, we have the same exponent. These are like terms, and you could just combine them by adding the coefficients. 6 x cubed y squared. All right, let's take a look at this then. 11x minus 5x. Are they like terms? Hopefully you say yes. They have the same variable. They have the same exponent. So now we just combine the numbers. 11 minus 5 is, oh, I'm sorry, that's what they wanted. In this space here, you're supposed to use a distributive property or undistribute. So 11 minus 5, which is 6x. Here, it says use a distributive property. 2y times 2 to 5 times 5, 10. 3 times y, 3y, 3 times 9, 27. And now use the distributive property. Basically, we're going to, group like terms. 2y minus 3y, 10 plus 27. And now just do it. 2y minus 3y is minus 1y. 10 plus 27 is 37. Look at each piece. Sometimes this can become difficult if you do too much at once, so don't even try it. Part C, group like terms again. Here's a 14x with a 13y. I'm sorry, those aren't like terms. 14x with a 5x. There's a minus 6y with a plus 13y. And now you combine like terms. 14 plus 5, 19x. Negative 6 plus 13, positive 7y. This is how this is set up. All right, we're almost done. We just have a few more things here. Let's simplify the expression. Start by saying that these are the like terms. 11n minus 2n is 9n. Minus 6 plus 14 plus 8. Here, which ones are the like terms? I see the same variable, but only these two have the same exponent. 7a cubed, 6a squared. All right, here. We have no like terms right now. There's nothing that you can just simplify here. But we do know the distributive property tells us to take the 6, put it on the x, and take the 6 and put it on the minus 4. So you end up with 6x minus 24. Take the 3 and distribute. This is where you have to be careful. It's better to think of it, for me, I make it a minus 3. Negative 3. Negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. Negative 3 times 11 is a minus 33. So combine the like terms. 6x minus 3x minus 24 minus 37 is a minus 57. All right, so I'm going to try to keep this under 20 minutes. Look at this last example here, and look. A y needs to match with a y. 15, basically negative 15 plus 2. (12 minus 7 for the x's. So this becomes negative 13y. This becomes plus 5x. All right. Let's quickly move through these last two guided practices. Before you go, look at number 8. Guided practice number 8. This should be on a separate piece of paper. 2 plus 5x minus 6x squared plus 7x minus 3. The question asks, identify the terms, coefficients, like terms, and constant terms in the expression, then simplify the expression. So, let's start with the x squared part. That is a term, and it's all by itself. There are no like terms for it. Let's take the 7x and the 5x. Those are like terms. Let's put the minus 3 and the plus 2. Those are like terms. So, like terms are 7x plus 5x and negative 3 plus 2. Those are like terms. These, the 3 and the 2, are called constants. The coefficients are the 7, the 5, and the negative 6. There's a lot of information in here, but we want to just simplify it now. Negative 6x squared, put those together, and there you go. That's it. Number 10. Number 10 has us doing 2n minus 1 plus 6n plus 5. And simply asks us to simplify it. Combine the like terms. 2n plus 6n are like terms. minus 1 plus 5 are like terms because they are constants. And that is your answer. All right. So you should be showing a lot of this work on your guided practices. And be ready for your entrance slip when you come in, covering 1.2 and 1.1.